What's going on, Blerds, nerds, and everybody in between? It's your boy Wyatt, the sensei of the Syndicate, here with another episode of With the BS. So, you know, I just wanted to talk about Black Panther today. I didn't have a good segue. Didn't try to think of one. And I got my people here with me. So I got the right hand, no, the left hand, the fist of fury,
Yeah,
KB in the house. How you doing?
and I am good. I am good, and I like the I'm the left hand. Sarah's the right.
Yeah. I had to think about it real quick.
You can
But
like that.
But we also got the dub in the house, man. I appreciate you taking some time off of God Award to go ahead and grace us
Yeah,
with your appearance, man.
yeah, man. It's a dub live and direct. The femur of the syndicate.
Man, so how is it so far with God of War?
Man. Like I said, Auntie getting kind of old, so I didn't get the chance to catch it at midnight last night. I tried to, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
So today, after I got out of work, played it, and it basically a little training. But one thing I like since I played the last one, you didn't have to re-unlock some new weapons. You kind of just jump right in, kind of right where you left off a little bit,
That's what's up.
and hit the ground running. So I kind of like that. So I'm probably like 40 minutes in. So
Okay.
don't know how long it's supposed to be, but yeah, goal is probably done by next week.
That's what's up. And then we got the Husky Hokage, the one third of things people don't say podcast, half of the Victory Road, the gaming podcast. The dub is the other part of it. How y'all doing today? How you doing?
I am good, man. It's been a busy day. Actually, haven't had a chance to turn on God of War today. I played a little bit last night, um, but yeah, I'm good, man. How about you? How about everybody else? Oh, I got something else too. But go ahead.
Okay.
Is that one of the Blerd Syndicate shirts right there you got on, sir?
He does.
I'm not gonna
Yes.
lie. KB, is this one of the shirts you were just telling me about when I was
Yes,
backstage?
that's what
Yeah.
I was talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I might, I
Yes.
might, I might need
Yes.
that.
Go.
Yeah,
Go check the TikTok. I did a TikTok for it. You know what I'm saying? Representing one time. It's the new
Yo,
that's
quality.
dope.
It's one of
That's
those new
dope.
quality shirts, man. It fits
yeah, I
good. It
tried to
feels
change up
good.
the quality of it, man. Make sure that y'all
Hey,
were, feeling fine in these great shirts.
That ain't no
Uh,
Hanes, know what I'm saying? That Gildan ain't.
no,
no,
not
no,
that
this
good,
this
Mate.
ain't this something else. This
Oh,
ain't
this
that
ain't.
good.
Ooh,
Mm-mm.
it ain't that Gildan. I ain't want
Nah,
to
it's
say
not
it
that
ain't
good.
that Gildan. It was that Gildan, but it ain't that Gildan either.
Yeah. So we
This
got a
is
couple.
exclusive.
Yeah, we got a couple new ones too.
Yes.
And since we're talking about Black Panther, I'm gonna go ahead and show a couple of them off. So I
Go right
got
ahead.
I got this one that looks like the Lion King mixed with Black
Love it.
Panther, Hakuna Matata Forever. Uh, this one I really
That's
like.
hard. That's
That
hard.
Oh
that
man,
one.
That's hard.
that's
That's hard.
fire.
And then I did a ringer shirt where, and I don't know if you can be able to tell it here, is Black Panther there, and then he's got two Panthers
I
coming
see
from the
him.
side.
Okay,
I
I'm
see
seeing the
him.
bow.
So we have that as well. And then finally, one of the other shirts that we have, and Dub, I think you would appreciate this one
I do
because it's purple and gold. So
exactly. And
I
you know,
figured you would
you know
appreciate
what,
it, man.
what day coming up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but you know what I
Yeah, you
mean.
know
I'm
what day
happy for
coming
you.
up.
So, so yeah, we got your shirts for you. So if you
Yes.
guys do want to go check those shirts out, you can go to the blursyndicate.com for the latest merch. You have a bunch of different options as far as that's concerned. Check us out. And you can go with the code DND20 and you get 20% off. I'm gonna do it this weekend. You know what I mean? Maybe up for another week or so. So I want to try to be able to have you guys enjoy these great shirts. I love putting them together, and yeah, that's just how it is, man. Um, so I had some questions about Black Panther because I just got done watching it right before. Okay, what's up?
Before we get started, I just want to
Mhm.
show off some real quick. So I won won some stuff from Major Nelson at Xbox a few
Mhm.
weeks ago. I
Okay.
won Gotham Knights in game Gotham Knights NHL 23 and Tales from the Borderland, and I won a free Design Lab controller.
Mhm.
My controller arrives.
Ooh.
So went with the Elite 2 series, the core, because I already got an Elite 2. And I had the model it after my guy, Minato Namikaze. You can see that.
Ooh.
And it has the
Husky
Husky.
Hokage at the bottom. Well,
Yeah,
Bring it down,
man.
son. Bring
there
it
you
right
go.
there.
There you go.
Yeah.
You see the hints of the yellow for the yellow flash from Naruto.
Ooh,
Yeah,
you
man.
sexy bitch.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Won't be using it right now since I'm in knockout God of War mode. So
Yeah, because Sony's where it's at.
I don't know about all that, but it's enjoyable.
Okay. We'll see where your attention be these next couple of months.
I mean, these next couple of days. I mean, next week.
You know what next week? Pokemon come on. Yeah. So
I'm trying to go on breeze through God of War myself.
See, we got a review to do next week.
So you guys are taking the week off this week to try to get through God of War, right?
That is correct.
Yes, sir.
All right. I look forward to hearing. So and we got the right-hand man of the Syndicate, sir, founder of the 2020 podcast, LLC. Please say the LLC. How you doing today, bro?
What's going on, man?
Gentlemen, lady. I'm glad to be back.
Good. Glad to have you, man. You missed the wonderful Black Panther shirts that we got going for the blerdsyndicate.com, where you put in D&D 20 and you get 20% off. Just putting it out there again. So but hey, so Black Panther was really, really monumental when we first had it come out. What parts of why do you think it was so good, or why do you think it was so popular in that situation? Because I was watching it again and I got some notes. But go ahead.
I can start off being I wasn't the biggest Black Panther fan. To be honest, I thought Black Panther was just a black Batman in Marvel because how he was portrayed in the cartoons. The guy had money, he was smart, he was handsome, he had hands. That's about all I saw. Like watching like Iron Man and stuff like that when he like made those little appearances here and there. So it's just like I wasn't that impressed with Black Panther coming up as a kid. I was like, oh yeah, cool, whatever. I don't think I knew he was like from Africa. Like, granted, I didn't pay a lot of attention to this kid anyway. But the movie, like how they updated his costume, how they like put this country in Africa in such a positive light, like, hey, this place wasn't colonized. Like, so we had these resources, they had advanced technology, and it just put it in such a good light. It was like, oh, dang. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of really kind of hit you, like, and they did it. The scenery was so beautiful and everything. So I think it did a good job of putting Black Panther in a positive light, especially for people who really didn't. Well, people like me who really weren't feeling Black Panther like that. Like when I thought about my like my favorite superheroes or even black superheroes, he probably wouldn't even make top 5, top 10 at the time.
Shit.
So
there's not even all that many black superheroes.
Exactly. And if I got down to sell him, like, dang, I got another spot, he still probably wouldn't have been in there at that time. That's how much like, nah, I'm good on Black Panther. You know, so
okay.
Fast forward, you learn a little bit, you grow up some, you know. He still won't be number 1, but he'll definitely be in my ranking somewhere.
What about so for me, like I thought it was like the story was like mid for me, but then after that, like when I look at how it is culturally and just the small nuances that had like us in it, like as far as the conversation and things like that, that was the part that was most important from there, because like you got to be able to see how these people, you know, how we were and how we acted and how, you know, things were going on from that point. So like I thought that was really, really dope. Not only that, but the soundtrack was fire too. Like now I watched it just like I said just a second ago, and the soundtracks was bumping. So that was another good point.
Well, for me, one of the reasons I enjoyed Black Panther the way I did was it wasn't set in a typical African or American setting. One of the things I really hate about American media is the depiction of Africa. It's always the dusty huts. It's always the poor people with old, outdated clothes that are obviously hand me downs. Um, and in this, I got to see Africa in a new light. I remember why you're gonna know what I'm referring to. I remember when your mom went to Johannesburg.
Mm-hmm.
She came back and she showed us pictures and how astonished we were at how great the city looked. There were freaking Benzes everywhere, everywhere. That was the common car there, a Benz. We were looking at Taco Bell's, Burger King's, like everything you would pretty much see in a big American town was there. And that blew my mind. It really showed me how racist our media can be in depictions of Africa. Now, in terms of the other side of our people, we finally got to see what it's like to have one of us be a villain, like what it feels like to be a part of that diaspora and how that could affect us if we were put in the position, in the mindset, and the trauma that we're in those situations. We got to see how we could be not only the superhero, but how we as everyday black people could be the villain. And I think that's why we identify with Killmonger so much, is because nigga, we live that. We totally understand what it is to be ostracized by black people. And not trying to bash or anything, but there's obviously like a tension between, black people in America, African Americans, and Native Africans. You can sense that tension in the air, that there's something up we're seen as not as good, so when we're not embraced. And I've been wanting to say it, a lot of times when somebody don't really care about me, I'll be like, well, fuck them niggas then. And that's pretty much what Killmonger was. It's, oh, you don't care about me, and you played in the direct downfall of my father and myself. Fuck it, I'm gonna burn it all down. And so I think it's pretty much Trauma the movie.
It's funny you say that because my girl, she's a first generation American. Her parents from Africa, and she's told me some things about like how like Native Africans view certain like African Americans and stuff like that. So, but we can talk about that later. But she has told me some things about that. So,
yeah.
For me, I felt like with this movie, it's really one of the first times where you can see a black man be a hero without having
I'm
to.
sorry, I just had the music on. You kind of went out.
okay.
I'll turn it down even more.
Yeah, say that part again, KB. You kind of went in and out.
It's the first time where you get a black man who gets to be a hero without having to compromise his values in any way, shape, or form. He doesn't have to be, like the drug dealer with a good heart. He doesn't have to be the basketball player. Like, you got to be, granted, yes, he's a king, but he's a king, right? And then you also get where, like you said, there is trauma, but this isn't like the kind of torture porn horror trauma that you always get with black movies.
Yeah.
We're not, nobody is constantly dying in the hood. Nobody's being shot at in the hood. Nobody is being beaten and bloodied in the hood. Like, it's not that. It's not a slavery movie which gets shoved down our throats year after year. We get a movie where we can feel good about being black. Even if the villain is black, the hero is black. And there's a dichotomy there, like Sir was saying, in which you can identify with all aspects of your villain. Like, I think as like black people and then other people of color, we have grown so used to just being able to see ourselves in all forms of media because we've had to. Like if we want to like something, we have to look for where it's been ingrained in us. And I think that's why sometimes other folks have a harder time with that. You can't see yourself, like a lot of white people aren't going to see themselves in Killmonger. Why? Because it's not their life. So they don't identify with it. They don't like it as much. But for us, we know that dude. We might be that dude. So it's a different level for us. Even if the storytelling is not absolutely fantastic, it's the storytelling of a Marvel superhero movie. It's real basic. But the blocks we're able to identify with more.
Yep. What's going on, Tots?
What up?
So, and then we had a previous comment that said that IGN gave the movie a 7. And I can understand. I don't know why they gave it a 7, but you know, there's some stuff that I can.
With IGN, so it's only a few people at IGN I actually read or pay attention to when it comes to reviews or whatever, because IGN as a whole, like, even though they say, like, you know, you see the thing, that person who reviewed it, they rated it a 7. Like, it's their opinion. It's a 7. It's not, so it wouldn't be like, say, if you talk to somebody at IGN that didn't review it, somebody else different, it could be an 8, or it could be that person make it, because it's all based off that person's opinion. So and I wish they would, I guess, kind of change it to where it's, say, instead of saying just IGN as a whole, like, this person from IGN gave it a 7, and the reviews. I wish they would start doing that a little bit more. That way it'll be, because you get people as like, a lot of people don't mess with IGN period because of the simple fact, like, they don't like, the reviews they give or whatever the case may be. But I'm just saying, like, I don't, I don't fool to certain people at IGN when it comes to reviews.
I don't listen to IGN at all. Once they dropped that, what it was, top 30 anime list of all time.
Yeah, that top 25.
Once they dropped that, I'm like, man, y'all a bunch of Gen Zs just skating through life, man. Yeah.
It ain't even that for me. I don't trust any of the review sites for the fact that a lot of them, again, it's that identification piece. A lot of them, if they can't see themselves in something, they're less likely to give a fair rating.
Completely agree.
To be 100%, you kind of get that. Like, if I can't identify with a movie, I may not give it a great review. It didn't speak to me. I wasn't feeling it. But that's why I'm not a critic. That's why I don't get paid to do it. As a critic, you're supposed to be able to separate yourself from what you actually see.
Correct.
And the fact that a lot of them don't do that, let me watch it myself. I don't care about your engines and your systems and your votes. Unless you tell me your panel starts looking more like the rest of the world, and you got women, you got men, you got black. Unless you starting to give me that diversity in your panel, you can kiss my ass.
That brings up a good point.
Black women. Don't just say women, just say black women. It's a whole. I get into it later or something like that. We'll have to talk about it a different time. But let's say black women.
So specifically, yes, but also with that, I think that there, like with Turning Red, for instance, there was an issue in which a whole bunch of white men reviewed that and didn't understand any of the Asian customs that came behind it. Yeah. So that's why I say women in general. Like, don't get me wrong, as a black woman, yes, I'm a ride for mine. But there are times where I think it would benefit from women in general.
I can see that.
Hey, how do you guys feel? Because I know we were talking about diversifying. How do you guys feel when they change a character's, like, maybe race or even gender? How do you guys feel when that happens?
I personally don't like it.
It doesn't bother me if the change does not fundamentally change the character itself. Because there was a lot of argument with the whole Little Mermaid, and then people trying to be like, well, what if we took Tiana and we made Tiana white? Well, here's the problem with that. First and foremost, Tiana's story is central to her being a black woman. You cannot change her race here and get the same story because the impact is completely different. It doesn't work. Not only that, but it's a numbers game. How many white princesses do we have versus how many black princesses do we have? If you take Tiana away, you have 0. If you take Ariel away, you still have at least 10. So that's where my line with that is. If it's not central to the character's story and the make, then I see no issue with it. But once it is central to the identity of the story that you're selling, you cannot make that change. That's why you cannot make Black Panther a white guy, because the story doesn't take place in South Africa. If it took place in South Africa, then we can have that conversation, but it doesn't.
What do you guys think about Namor being from like of Latin descent? Is that what I don't know.
I mean, I'm
Central
okay
American.
with it.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it, and that's for the simple reason of like Namor is. So let's put it like this: Namor necessarily isn't what you would call someone of the Caucasian descent. You know, he's not. He may look like that in the comics, but like if you get into it, like he's not really, you know, a white male or whatever the case may be. Even though he's a Atlantean or whatever, like they don't look, you know, whatever the case may be. But
I just, as long as that motherfucker coming from the water, that's the only thing that really matters.
You know what I'm saying? So it don't.
As long as he coming from the water, that's it. But
here's the thing: like it makes sense when you look at
it
how diverse the range is. When you look at like the beliefs and the customs that you're trying to impart to tell this story of why it matters, it makes sense to give him a background like this. Versus if you turn around and made him Scottish, like, bro, he in the water. What? What are you doing?
So as long as he over here trying to get Sue Storm, as long as he's arrogant, and as long as he's coming from the water, those are the three things that like everybody should know about him. You know what I mean? But yeah. How do you guys Jeremy, how you feel about the swaps and genders? And you're muted, sir.
You muted.
Of course. When I found out that Namor was going to be Aztecian, like, you know, that descent, I was honestly excited because I wanted to see like how could they twist the design to include that culture. Because one thing I do appreciate about Marvel is that they're not just going to jump into a race and not include the culture without it. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
So I got excited to see, okay, how are they going to twist the uniform? Like, how are they going to twist like the small details, like the accessories, like what are the paintings going to be like? What are the people going to be like? What is the language going to be like? Because, bruh, like there's a whole Wakandan like translator out there.
It is.
Like, it is. Lettering and everything. Like, so I was excited to see that. Okay, there's a whole nother culture I get to explore and be a part of. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just for 2 hours, I get to see what it's like to be like, you know, on the other end of that. Because truth be told, bro, I'm gonna keep it a billion. I love Coco, the movie. Oh my god!
Ooh, boy, you said so. I just bought the Funko Pop.
Oh my god! Coco does something to me, bro.
Man, I that's probably one. I prefer Coco over Encanto, but I love
too,
Coco.
Bro. Encanto was weird to me.
Coco had me trying to shed a tear
because
I did.
Encanto was like, you know,
bro, come on.
Exactly. Like everybody was like Encanto this, Encanto, like Encanto cool and all, but Coco is it for me. Like I like Mama Coco.
Right. Come on, bro.
Senor De La Cruz.
Man, what?
But yeah, I feel like with Marvel, this is never like a race swap for the sake of race swapping. It's a purpose behind it. And if that purpose is for inclusion, you know, I feel like everybody is for it. What's interesting to me is that everybody was so pissed about the Ariel situation. But when they showed the actor for Namor, everybody was quiet. Like,
so not everybody was quiet.
Well, it was nowhere near the same amount of hate.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna call a spade here. I think that's more because depending on when you picked up a copy and saw Namor, people weren't quite sure dead set what he was supposed to be. He was kind of racially ambiguous anyway. So I think that's why you're not hearing the same argument, because there are actually comments you can pick up when you name more. It looks like he could be, Latin American. He could be some form of Native American. Like, he doesn't always look like a standard white man. Whereas Ariel, pale skin, red hair, that's always been her look. But what I found interesting was you didn't really hear, you heard a lot of sarcasm from people who look like us, in which we was like, hey, how come nobody's mad that Chris Pratt is playing Mario and that man ain't Italian? Y'all not mad about this? Mario is an Italian plumber. Where is his accent? Where
Mario.
Meat Parmesan sandwich. Y'all,
I don't know, man. It's just this picking and choosing crap just gets old real quick when you start to see what the common denominator is. It's change is okay as long as it's not a black person. Yeah. Like that's what it feels like down to. And even if that's not true, just like Husker Hokage said, that's what it feels like now.
I tell people all the time, it's not it may not be what it is, but it's what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Like say, even though you can say, oh, that may not be what it is, but it's what it looks like. It looks like every time it's a black person, oh, here come the uproar. Oh, well, what if we did this to you, one of your characters? Like, why does it even have to be a conversation? Why we even got to go down that road anytime this comes up? Like, bro, y'all got millions. I was just people like white people have so many, like, you have millions and millions and millions of characters or people that look like you that represent you in movies, and have had that for years, basically since the beginning, since they started making movies. Like, y'all had that. Like, we get sprinkled in here and there, side characters, whatever the case may be. But like when they change or something like that, like they changed Little Mermaid, a fictional character that you know what I'm saying? Like, that makes a fictional character that lives in the water that you don't know what they like. Even like it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
Also, I would like to go on record and say it's actually Tales of Mermaids in Africa. By the way,
I've heard that, but I'm just saying, like, they're not white. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it shouldn't matter, man. Enjoy it. Like, just enjoy the fact that it's, somebody, like, enjoy the representation for everybody that's out there. So,
Y'all, you bring up a good point here. He said, poor Idris, I won't get to play smooth James Bond due to the backlash.
He actually didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it.
Yeah, if you think about all the backlash that you would have just to do that character, like, would you really want that one? And then after that,
ain't one movie. That's a series of movies.
Yeah, because then after that, he's already got a good career, so he don't need it to make it. Like,
that's why
because if you think about Daniel Craig, he was known somewhat, but he wasn't known as what he was before he had James Bond.
And I seen him in James Bond. Yeah, I don't even watch James Bond movies, but I could identify his face, like, hey, that's
James Bond. Yeah. And so not only that, but then I also thought about, like, I was watching The Flash, and I remember how much backlash they gave poor Iris West because she was black, and then after that, like, they kept hounding her. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough, and I think especially if you look at when comic books were made, they weren't made for us. They weren't made to, like, we could enjoy them, but like now that we're actually being able to identify and see ourselves in them, not only in just character traits, but also in physical representation, it's a totally different ball game. However, I do want to say, if they do make another T'Challa, he needs to be a bigger asshole, because he's not a big enough asshole in Marvel stuff right now. Because, like, right now, low-key, he was kind of weak in this in his own movie as far as that's concerned. But
me and somebody was talking and said he didn't do nothing. He took a lot of L's in that movie.
He definitely took a lot of L's. And honestly, it feels like the women in Black Panther really helped, like really kind of carried him through that role. Because if you, and like it's great because like it does show how supportive Black women are, but like it looks like he wasn't doing a whole lot for himself. Like he got his ass whooped multiple times. His mama had to call out to him one time to get his ass in check. You know what I'm saying? It's I just want him to be a little bit stronger, a little bit more, tougher.
My man lost his dad. Ease up.
I'm just curious. Go ahead. Go ahead.
My man was grieving. Back up.
Well, he was grieving and he got his ass whooped. So that took 2 strikes right there.
I'm just saying you might not do so well if you grieving too. You might get waxed.
All I'm saying is, M'Baku came up to him and was like, "You can't even save your daddy," and he didn't wax his ass right then and there.
Threw him off a cliff.
But who won?
Barely, because his mama had to cry out to him because his mama was tired. She was about to make his mama cry again because he got his ass whooped.
Technically, M'Baku was owed a rematch because they 1-1. Technically.
Well, it look like you're gonna be getting that rematch.
Yeah, it damn sure don't look like he ain't getting it.
It's not too soon.
I'm just keeping it a book. Look, I'm just here.
So telling the truth. Maybe somewhere in the multiverse, though.
And that's my biggest gripe with it. Like a lot of I've seen so much from the time, since they kind of showed, the new Black Panther, whatever the case may be, seen so many people, especially Black people or Black males, mad about, we getting basically a female Black Panther. There's gonna be a female Black Panther. All that,
that's in the comic books.
And that too, but it's like I'm upset about that, or upset. We don't have any representation as a Black man, such and such, such and such. Or I've seen the whole thing online. They need to recast T'Challa. Don't recast T'Challa. Recast T'Challa. Like it's just like, bro. Look, first off, I want to say this. If I think he should be recast, but the way they can do it, the way they can go about doing it, like Dub just said, and the name of this saga is the multiverse saga. We can get that different T'Challa from a different multiverse. Like I said, his Wakanda could be destroyed. They can bring him in. He can be the bigger asshole because you know what I'm saying. He had some type of he let his get destroyed, so he has kind of a chip on his shoulder. He's an asshole. He's about Wakanda. I want to make sure this Wakanda stays. Like they can play. There's so many ways they can do this. Give Marvel time to cook and make this happen. Like bro, like this is one movie. Like this don't mean T'Challa's gone forever. This don't mean Black Panther, a male Black Panther's gone forever. Chill, enjoy what they done put out here, support it, and move on. Move around or whatever you want to do.
You know who I would like to see play T'Challa, but I know that's virtually impossible now. I would have liked to see Jonathan Majors play T'Challa. That's what I would have liked to see do instead. I would like to see him play T'Challa, but instead of Kane the Conqueror.
That would be dope. I told you my 3 has always been either Trevante Rhodes, Damson Idris might be, and my top pick is John David Washington. That's my top. That's my 3. My top pick is John David Washington.
I thought you said John Boyega. I feel like me.
Oh, that's right. Take Damson Idris out. Put John. You can throw John Boyega in there, but my top pick still John David Washington. John Boyega. Either one of them, John Boyega or John David Washington. Either one of them, I think put it off because both of them can act their ass off. So,
yeah, I do. One of the main reasons I want T'Challa back is because I'm kind of pissed that they bringing in the X-Men. And there's a chance I won't get that T'Challa and Storm love story.
It was toxic shit though.
You said what?
They were toxic as shit.
I know, but like in some comic books, like they actually had the kids and they actually made that thing work. You know what I'm saying? The reason in some comic books it didn't work is the X-Men and Avengers started getting at it and they had to split. But in some renditions, like they made that thing work and they had kids and stuff like that. So I kind of want to see them do it like have a happy family. Of course, they got their shit, but like have a happy family and stuff like that. Like even with Thor: Love and Thunder, like Thor, that girl Thor adopted, that was a new character. So it's kind of like you don't have to traditionally follow the comic book.
And she was in the comic book too, though. I
think she was a boy though in the comic book. Or something I was reading.
The whole storyline was like basically the storyline they had in Love and Thunder. It was in the comic books.
Yeah.
Jane was the she became Mighty Thor.
Yeah, I knew that.
And she had cancer. Well, spoiler, sorry.
Right.
Don't worry, y'all didn't miss nothing.
Yeah. I'm talking about the little girl though. The little girl, she was in the comics. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
I'm not talking about Mighty Thor. I'm talking about the little girl that he adopted.
No, fuck that little kid.
I mean, he does have a daughter. But that's like down, like one of those so-called future or whatever. So.
No, I knew about Mighty Thor. I was talking about the little girl.
I
read somewhere she was like something new they threw in.
I just want the Black Panther to have the cake back. That's all I want. I just want that.
That'll be dope.
I think that'd be too close to Spawn. I think Cake's kind of out of style now, so I don't think he'll probably get that bad boy back.
KB, you were gonna say something before?
First and foremost, to the gentlemen who are upset about us having a female Black Panther, read a fucking comic. Read a comic and then come back and talk to me. All right, let's go there. All right.
The spoiler alert: Shuri actually takes over the mantle as Black Panther.
It ain't even a spoiler. If you read a fucking book, you would know that. That's common knowledge. If you read the book, you just want to be mad about something. So I'm not even giving a spoiler alert to that. You a dumb bitch. You illiterate. Learn how to fucking read.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, with the next piece of this, like you guys are saying, there's also the possibility of getting another variant of T'Challa, and I think that we're not giving enough respect to the decisions that had to be made for them of whether or not, and I don't mean us like this panel, I mean in general, but respect the fact that we did not have to make that call. That could not have been an easy decision either way it fell, right? Because on the one hand, say that they did go through and they recast him, you have a whole cast who is grieving the loss of somebody who became like family to them, and then they're trying to turn around and act as though he's still there. That's not expecting somebody to be able to pull that off. You're asking too much. You really are. Now, with that being said, again, like everybody's saying, you can literally do an end credit to bring him in. There can literally be a little throwaway scene in there, because I do think we're going to get some throwaways as far as to what's happening with this movie. I do 100% think that if we do not outright get Victor Von Doom, I think we are getting a glimpse of Doom. I firmly believe that, because I think that, like, as far as what's happening with Wakanda and with just had a complete mind shut down.
Atlantis.
Thank you. But as far as the tension there, I really do think it's Doom pulling the strings behind the scenes. I would be very surprised if it's not. I would be shocked if it's not. But that's where I'm thinking the story is heading, and it would make sense and it would be great. But like recasting him, I think would not have done anyone any favors. If you want him recast so bad, go write some fucking fan fiction. Get your feelings out on paper.
I agree. It was too soon. I do want them to recast him, but I knew this was too soon. Like I'm expecting him to maybe, like, he's gonna show up. I will hope that he shows up in like what's the second Avengers movie they had it like after the Kang Dynasty, and then the Secret Wars. I'm assuming we go get a new. We gonna hope that we get our new T'Challa. Then he's gonna show up. Then we get a multiversal, because it's a whole. I got a whole theory that's what's happening or what's going to happen. But yeah.
Honestly, yeah, I think that's when we're either getting him there. We're definitely getting him before they actually do it.
Yeah, they just got to get. They had to let it breathe. You know what I mean? And then after that, and then the fact that, like, he was one of the main. So when you look at Black Panther and how much money it made by itself compared to like all the rest of the movies, like, he's one of the highest like single action hero movies, you know what I mean? Because like if you look at like Captain America, Civil War, and all the rest, like that was just like Avengers 2.0, 2.5. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like he did a movie where it was just him and his single bad in his own kind of universe, and they did a lot of world building. And when they did that world building, I think, you got to take that chance, and especially the way he went out and was just humble about stuff. If you look at even how how much he influenced all these people and how much publicity that he did for that role. Like, I know his shoulders and everything had to be tired because he kept having to do this and pull up. So
Bro, it was some folks saying like you could tell Chad was tired of Wakanda Forever because just his face, like
he
when
was
he was
like,
trying to do it, like
yeah, okay, all right. So, um, so going to the new movie. I know everybody's probably going to go see it sometime in the next couple weeks. What are your expectations when it comes to this new movie?
I think personally, I'm gonna have to. It looks good, don't get me wrong, but I think personally, I'm gonna have to give it a lot of grace because a lot of unexpected things happen. You feel me? Because I think I don't know if me and Marcus was talking about me and one of my buddies, but they're saying the original script was supposed to be T'Challa overcoming grief of like him missing so many years in his kingdom and stuff. But
Yeah, I heard about that.
but the still theme of this movie is still like them overcoming grief of T'Challa. So it's kind of like it's still kind of in the same lane, but it's a different grief. So it's kind of like if you see some inconsistencies, you're gonna have to kind of give it grace because you did lose your main actor. So I feel like it's still gonna be a good movie. Like I said, I think you're gonna have to give it a little grace just in case, considering what happened. But I still overall think it's gonna be a good movie. I'm not gonna tell you what I expect because I definitely heard some like things here and there about what's supposed to happen. So yeah.
I don't expect a whole lot. I'm gonna be on one with you. I don't mean to sound down on the film, but I do remember that they said they had a whole different direction that this film was supposed to go in.
Yeah.
And then Ryan and the team that wrote this had to go back and change it. So I expect a lot of this stuff for me to get taken out of the world and remember, oh yeah, Chadwick passing probably affected how this came out.
Kind of like Fast and the Furious.
I guess the reason I'm saying I'm guessing because you know what I didn't see
you don't like fans. Yeah,
right.
so essentially, like, he died with most of the movie done, and so then they had to change a couple things. But I think
He was
that's a
his
whole lot.
brother.
Yeah, I think it's a whole lot different in that aspect of, you know what I mean, him just missing like kind of maybe reshoots and last second stuff versus like they were getting ready to shoot and then after that he passed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As far as me, I'm I got hope that it's gonna be a good movie. Yeah, or whatever. I'm gonna enjoy it regardless. But and like I said, but I still have in my head like I know what it was supposed to be. I know what we were supposed to get, but it's like with him passing, they had to go back and basically almost rewrite this entire movie. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure they were gonna put Namor was coming. They've been hitting that. They kind of were hitting at it in game. When it was like they having the earthquakes on the. They was hitting at it then. But I'm pretty sure Namor was coming. But they had to kind of go back and rewrite this whole thing to kind of make it fit and to give them to put a good credible movie out there because you have a great cast and you got great actors out there and I think it's gonna be a good movie. I don't know if it's gonna be a great movie as far as just like the storytelling and everything. Visuals, I already know. Just off rip, the visuals are gonna be top tier. Like the music, the like all that's gonna be top tier. So I'm gonna support it either way. But like I said, it's gonna be a good movie. You know what I'm saying? So and if it, I'll be shocked if I'll be a little shocked if the story is just the story it's just it's fire or whatever. Like it ain't. I don't think so. I don't think the story's gonna be.
Hold on. So you said you're gonna be surprised if
because
the storyline is good, if it's great.
No, it's great. It's gonna be good. I
That's
see, it's good. I believe it's gonna be good, but I'll be shocked if it's like, whoa, like you know what I'm saying, great. You know what I'm saying? So
so what do you define as great? Because I feel like it's gonna be a lot of moments that kind of pull at your heartstrings. I ain't gonna lie, I'm already kind of prepared to shed a tear or two. You know what I'm saying? Because I really mess with that boy Chadwick. I was messing with him when he first dropped in 42. I was like, hey, this guy, he's something serious, and he was
42 was my shit too.
Yeah, he was a genuine, like a good guy. So I think I might have my heartstrings pulled at a little bit. So I might have to go watch it a second time, make sure like I don't think it's great, just because like they had me tearing up a little bit. So what categorize something as great for you, in my opinion?
It's just so if for me, it's just gonna have to be. I'm looking for, and I like I said, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's gonna be the one. I'm like looking for a good complete story, like where around we get some good character development. Like they bring in Riri. Let me make sure we get they kind of they develop Riri some. You know what I'm saying? We've seen the pictures of her flying around in the armor. I expect that. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? So make sure they develop Riri, because she's gonna be on her own. They doing this whole series with her. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give us some kind of. I ain't asking for a whole backstory. I'm not asking for a whole cut scene of her, how she got. You know what I'm saying? I don't need all that. Just give me some good character development, so when she do get her story, it can pick up from there. Make it make sense that Shuri's taking over the mantle. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Give me something like don't just put it in the suit and she's like, I decided to take over because T'Challa gone. Don't just give me that. Now granted, give me, make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for stuff like that, and I'm not saying they're not gonna give it to us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they may give it to us. They may give us a little bit, but they ain't gonna give us they may not give us the full, complete detail of the story or whatever the case may be. So
you want intricate details
on some stuff, yeah. I'll put like that. I don't gotta have it on everything.
He wants her to earn it, like majority of us want. We just don't want to. Well, you his sister. Here you go. We don't want that. That's so anticlimactic.
Yes.
We want some kind of development, because Shuri has to develop, bro. Like she was still a brat. I don't know if y'all remember.
I remember.
She was still
when she acted. Like
you know what I'm saying?
when they was doing the ceremony, she was like, can we just go home? You know what I'm saying? Basically, like, you know what I'm saying? She was still young, and like, don't get me wrong, she was smart as hell, but she was still, like you said,
immature.
Immature kid. Like, she still had that mindset, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's whatever. Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping, like you said, let her earn it or give her a way to, like, you know what I'm saying? Don't just, because all of a sudden, don't let her just change. Because I can't remember if she mentioned. I'm maybe thinking about something else. I'm thinking maybe she mentioned she couldn't dream of being in that suit. It was something, but I don't think she mentioned that. But I just want her to earn her place, or just not earn her place, but earn her, like, just show that she's did something, like show a good change in her, the way she's okay. All right, she picking up the mantle. And she
knows what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. She understands the gravity that comes along with the position of being the Black Panther.
Here's my only issue with all of that. I don't think we've really seen other characters have to earn it. They just were who they were by proxy of who they are. I get what you're saying for story. It does make sense, especially considering how she was introduced to her. But I just don't agree that she should have to do that when we didn't make that a basis for all these other characters. Now, with that being, I didn't say all of them, because Thor had to earn his hammer back, right? Thor had to earn his.
I was going to say T'Challa had to earn it.
Huh?
T'Challa had to earn it.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. The whole first film, Black Panther 1. He got his ass destroyed.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but was he or was he not Black Panther when that movie already started? Because he had his powers.
I'm glad you said that. He got it because of a death, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
He became Black Panther because his daddy died.
Right.
He went out there, pissed off and stuff, and then got humbled because let's keep it a bill. He got his ass whooped. Let's just keep it a 100. All right. And then come Black Panther 1, right? Where he's just given the powers. And what happened in his first fight? He won. Okay, kind of, sort of, hands up. But then what happened immediately afterwards? He got humbled, damn near killed.
He earned the right to be looked at the way that he was, but he did not have to earn the title of Black Panther. That's why
I feel like
he didn't earn it. He didn't. He did not.
I see what you're saying.
I see what you're saying. Like,
because he was just in Civil War, he was just Black Panther.
But so he took over. He jumped in the suit because his father died. Like you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he was. If he was supposed to be if he was going to be the Black Panther, they never would have had the challenge with him and M'Baku. Like they would have had that first challenge. It would have been done. It would have been it. They had to do that because his father died. He was taking over as king. They had to do that to make sure he was going to be the Black Panther. If he was sick,
no, that was for him being king. He was Black Panther already. So then, because even in Civil War, didn't they say that he has the mantle?
Hold on. So, yes, he stepped into the role when his father was killed. That's 100% correct. However, what M'Baku did was challenge day. They are allowed to challenge one challenge day, which means he already had the power. That's why they thought nobody else would challenge. He was already seen by his people as Black Panther. What I'm saying is, for the story, I get what you're saying, that there needs to be change and growth. What I'm saying is that for the story, in order for us to accept that T'Challa was Black Panther, we did not have to see T'Challa become Black Panther. We just accepted that that is who he is. We did not have to see Tony Stark become Iron Man. We just accepted that Tony Stark was Iron Man. Thor is a little different because we had to see him earn his hammer back. Don't get me wrong. You had to see Tony Stark grow as a person, but you didn't have to see him grow as a person to accept the fact that he's Iron Man. So
what about Falcon?
Agree with the statement that Shuri has to grow to be Black Panther. I think that she has to grow for the story to be good. I think she has to grow for the story to make sense, but I don't think she has to grow just to say I'm Black Panther. I disagree with that.
Well, I think what is being said is like it's not necessarily that she has to grow to be Black Panther. It's the fact that she has to be able to take the role seriously, because right now we've seen a lot of immature Shuri. You know what I mean? So it's not the point that we're saying that she needs to grow, because it's more than just a title. It's a whole gravitas. It's a whole thing that goes along with it. So I'm not saying that like she needs to earn it, as in like, you know what I mean, she needs to go through the challenges and things like that. But we would like to see just more maturity into that role, because if you come at it lightheartedly, then that's it. And also there has been more people. Spider-Man had to earn his role. Falcon had to earn his role. There was a couple.
Didn't earn Falcon. Falcon had to earn being Captain America, though. But I'll give you that.
I mean, you knew what I meant. So you knew what I meant because you saw Disney Plus and you saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That was a whole nother issue, though. He had to earn that by being a Black man in America, being a symbol of America. That's a whole nother conversation with him.
I feel like that's a similar conversation because I feel like she's having to be Black Panther because she's the sister to the guy who just died. And what I'm saying is, I don't want her to be Black Panther in the story just because her brother died. When I say I want her to earn it, I want her to have conflict with the Dora Milaje. I want people to stand up and say, I ain't feeling the type of person you are. You're smart, but I haven't seen your battle tactics. What is that like? I want that from
Bast. I want that from Bast. Because that was...
I'll take that. I'm just saying, I just don't want her to slip on the suit and, I stole the suit. I don't want them to Mulan this.
Gotcha.
I would absolutely reject this movie if they did that.
Gotcha.
I would call this movie trash if I see that.
I don't think Ryan Coogler would do that though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That has to be a key component, like we was talking about with Husky Hokage saying, from it being okay to great. I need some kind of like pushback in order for her to be like, nah, I'm here. I proved my point. Just like, for instance, and this is going left field, but I feel like all of y'all are going to get what I'm talking about. The freshman XXL Cypher, right? Every year it comes out. Every year it happens. Do you not have to prove yourself to be in that freshman class?
You do.
Yeah.
Do you not have to come out there and bring your hardest shit? Because when you come out there with that Coil Ray weak shit, what happened? You get ridiculed. It's the same exact thing. If you want me to accept you as Black Panther, even though, you know, the book says it happened for you, I don't give a damn if the book says you got the powers. That's cool. But how did we get there? What trials are you going to come across? Who's not going to be with you being a woman Black Panther? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the struggles of just being a woman, period. Like, give me some of that.
So let me ask you this, because I respect the opinion of everybody here.
Oh shit.
So I want no. It's not gonna be that.
I don't think she's gonna do it like that.
No. What I'm asking is, say they go through and they give us that. I feel like the four of you would say, all right, that's cool. I can accept that. But as a whole, do y'all really think that's going to matter?
Yes.
You think so?
Because we just got through talking about how women had to guide T'Challa to be in Black Panther in the previous movie.
Because if it wasn't for them,
just got through saying it.
Hear my words.
I'm not gonna lie.
I said I know with the four of you that would weigh something and mean something. What I am asking is, as a whole, as a collective, do you guys really think that people are going to go and watch this movie and be like, oh,
nope,
she had challenges? Because if you do, I would ask you to look at the reviews for The Woman King and the trials and tribulations that you know went on there, and still how people received that. So that's what I'm saying is, yeah, they can give us that, but they don't put other characters through that same scope, because majority of people are just going to say, you know what? Bruce had a hard life. Bruce deserves to be the Hulk. You see what I'm saying? Like, yes, of course he had a hard life. Of course these bad things happened.
KB, I see what you're saying, but I still disagree. Because we don't make films to satiate the entire crowd. We make films to make art, to make a statement, right? I feel like bringing up we shouldn't do that just because everybody won't feel that is bullshit.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying that
help me out here, because I'm like,
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. What I'm saying is that when it comes to the expectations of women in movies, when it comes to the expectations especially of Black women in movies, Black women have to do the utmost to get the same bare minimum respect that somebody would get just by proxy of who they are supposed to be in this film. That's what I'm saying. If you took Thor and turned him into a Black woman, and Thor went through those same tribulations to get that hammer back, instead of saying, oh shit, Thor was succeeded, it would be, okay, but why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they do this?
So here's
it's weighing down on me to hear that, you know, yeah, they're gonna have to show us this, and I get what y'all are saying, because from the story it does make sense, right? I'm not saying that it doesn't. What I'm saying is that the expectation seems to be harder for a Black woman to have to impress upon everyone that she deserves the title. That's how it feels.
But here's my thing. So I believe like there definitely are hurdles for Black women when it comes to any position that they're in. You know what I mean? But if you look at honestly the the demographic of people who do watch comics and things like that, like a lot of them don't have exposure or experience when it comes to dealing with black women or even having those conversations. So like I think people like myself and the other gentlemen here are definitely allies in what's going on and appreciate that. But the only way that people are going to be able to start normalizing that is to be able to see that and to also be able to experience that. Because like yes, like because I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think as black people all together, like we all have to do way more to be able to get half the acknowledgement.
Right.
So and I think it's even worse for women. So like I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with that aspect of it, but it's up to us to continue to shine and to grow in that light, that we do have that opportunity to show, okay, not only did I meet this challenge, but I exceeded it.
Right.
But also at the same time, kind of like kind of going back to chat with Don. I think, and this is just a random thought, I think she would have to do that for her to be like, kind of going back, it's like she shouldn't have to do that. But even if no one's like people, she did a good job acting like it'll be harder for her to be accepted because he died regardless. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like anybody who would have stepped in the role of Black Panther, they would have had to prove themselves because of the absence that Chadwick left too.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, so it's kind of like one of those things like, yeah, you're right, black women have to go through all these steps and hurdles, but regardless of whoever the fuck stepped in that role, they were gonna have to go through hurdles and prove
and even whoever plays T'Challa next, they still gonna have that big ass shadow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring you a comic book reference. So like they killed Batman off and they put Dick Grayson in that motherfucking suit. Nobody wanted Dick Grayson in the suit, and he had been with Batman for like 50 years. So if a nigga who been with somebody for 50 years and been his sidekick can't be the same person, like it's tough. Then that's the thing that I get about comic book people sometimes, is that they don't like change as much. You know what I'm saying? So any kind of change is fought like tooth and nail sometimes.
And to kind of add to that, bro, like after watching She-Hulk, I specifically waited for all the bullshit to die down with She-Hulk, and then I went and finished it, and I thought it was spectacular. Its depiction of how women are treated and how certain situations will happen to them. They're victimized, and then when they respond, they are villainized, and that is used as a weapon against them. I thought that was brilliant to bring to the forefront. And the fact that people were turned off by it actually ends up being a plus for me, because it's got you talking. Where people would just dismiss it, just hear it one ear out the other. A lot of those episodes had me sitting back like, damn, so it's really like that? Like,
that's how it's like for a woman to be dating type deal.
Right, bro. Like if we could just get that for a black woman to see what it's like to feel in the role in a patriarchy, what it's like to feel the role as a leader, bro. Come on, man.
Like that's probably historically misogynistic as well.
Come on, bro. Like give me that. That's all I'm saying. Like I want people to have those conversations leaving, saying, damn, man, I remember when my auntie went through something like that. I want people to be pissed off about the movie because it reminds them of something they didn't like that they saw as a kid. Yeah. That's what I want. Rather than everybody going home, clapping their hands, being happy, shake the bed, bro. Like, because that's what Killmonger did for a lot of us.
I got a question, though. This is probably going to be one of our last questions because I'm trying to keep these things shorter and in a time frame. So who was... No, I'm going to ask this question first. Who do you think has a bigger impact going forward for the culture? Black Panther or the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales?
I'm biased on that, so I might have to reserve my answer.
I think it's still gonna be Black Panther because we're just talking strictly like animated universe, Spider-Verse, Miles Morales, not like him coming over to the MCU, Miles Morales. strictly the
whatever you want to figure, just the character, bro.
And we're talking about Black Panther as the mantle, or we're talking like Black Panther shirt, or like we're
the
talking
character, bro. Whatever you want, how you want to take this question, how you want to take this question is how you want.
Because I see where he's going, and I want him to go there. I want you to say it.
I see it. I see it coming.
Ooh, he want to say it. He thinking about it though.
He don't want to. He don't want to say it though.
I'm not sure.
All right, can I go?
Go ahead.
Because I'm gonna say it real quick. Because I'm gonna piss people off. I'm gonna say Black Panther. Let me tell you why. Because the whole purpose of it being a Black Panther was for Stan Lee to have the conversation that, hey, y'all are looking at Black Panthers, the group, like they're villains, when in actuality they're kind of standing for their own, for us, by us kind of mentality. Wink, wink. So that was the original purpose of the Black Panther character. It was him taking the negative stigma and turning it on its head for the next generation. I'm not going to say a certain 3 letters, but it kind of reminds me of that, where people have taken those 3 letters and villainized it, you know, when it came to the organization. But that's a whole nother story. But Black Panther all day, because it got people saying it, championing it, and not even really knowing the history behind it for it to get to this point. Like, if you would have told Huey Newton and them that there'd be a whole comic book movie called Black Panther that will make billions of dollars across the world, you know what I'm saying, about a nation of Black people, intelligent, rich, loving warriors, like all of that.
Have white kids running around here in Black Panther costumes.
Boy, what? Come on.
I seen it. I done seen it.
Come on. So KB Husky.
So I'm kind of with Dub on this, and like I'm in the middle. And the only reason I say that is because I'm looking at my kids. I know how much my oldest son loved, like, Black Panther's his favorite. Like, this, I told you, we used to watch the movie when it was on Netflix just about every day. Like, he loves Black Panther, and I know what that means to him. Like I said, I know what it means seeing a king. But for my middle son, Miles Morales is it. He was Spider-Man he was Miles Morales Spider-Man specifically for like 2-3 years in a row. Just like Marcus was Black Panther like 2-3 years in a row. Like that's who they identify. I mean, that's how how we identify them. Like, one is Brax is Spider-Man, Marcus is Black Panther. Like, hand and foot. So it's hard for me, but I'm gonna have to agree with what Sir said, man. Like, Black Panther is just, it holds, and I love Miles to the death of me. Like, that's going back to what we were talking about earlier, like how it's changing, you know, people like to change or whatever. Like, so when they start creating our versions of these characters or whatever, like, you know, Miles, Riri, you know what I'm saying? Characters like that. But as much as I love Miles, I love who Black Panther is, what he stands for, just what the weight his name holds and what it is and what it means. So.
I have my answer, but I'm gonna let KB go if she wants to go.
I want so badly to disagree with Sir, but I can't. The answer is unequivocally Black Panther. And even aside from the name and the power behind that, Black Panther is one of one. Whereas Miles, it was to give us a Black Spider-Man.
Another Black Spider-Man. More than one.
Right.
Because Spider-Punk is Black, but yeah, I digress. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the point of Black Panther, however, was to show Black people in positions of power, in positions of royalty, and show that we belonged on the same field as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as you'll see, you know, kids dressed as Miles, triple that, you're going to see people Wakanda Forever. Wakanda is for the culture, by the culture.
KB, I sent you a picture of a little Latino girl in a Walmart ad for a Black Panther costume.
You
And we
did.
kind of chuckled to ourselves about it.
You did.
All right.
I've just go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna go with Miles, just for the simple fact, like you said, Spider-Punk, he was black, but Miles Morales kind of changed the game when you really sit back and think about it.
Mhm.
You saw a boom in because like I said earlier, I don't agree with switching the gender and race of certain major characters, put it like that. If it's like somebody like Namor that's been like kind of like locked away in the vault for a little bit, kind of need to spruce him up a little bit. That might be the little sprucing you need. But I like how they were like, okay, we still got Peter Parker, but we got Miles Morales over here. Miles Morales, he was out there wearing Jordans, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He was doing all these other things. And I feel like after you drop Miles, that's when you start getting variations of these other, like the Black Superman in DC. You start getting like the Black Batman, I think it's Tim Fox's name. Like you start getting all these other variations of black characters, and you start seeing these people turn into mantles. So you don't have Batman's just not a person. Like Batman can be Tim Fox, it can be Dick Grayson, it can be Damian Wayne. Spider-Man can be more than just Peter Parker. It could be Miles Morales, it could be Spider-Gwen. Like, and I think it's kind of showing kids like, okay, just because Peter Parker is white and he's Spider-Man, you could also be black and Spider-Man over here. What biracial Spider-Man because he's Afro-Latino.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother community that he's probably affecting. Granted, I lived in California a little bit. I ain't talked to a lot of people out there, so I don't know how they felt about Miles like that. But that's a whole nother community that might be rocking with him like that too. Because like originally when I first read the comic book, I don't remember him being Afro-Latino. I ain't see a lot of Spanish, but now I see him speaking Spanish and stuff in there with his mom and stuff. So I just feel like I said, I feel like kind of that little Miles Morales comic book. I feel like kind of it almost paved the way for them to be like, let's try this Black Panther now. Let's see how that's going. Not saying that's exactly how it happened, but that comic book boomed real hard when he first dropped.
The fact that he was in Ultimate, like the Ultimate Universe, and they killed off the whole fucking universe, and they was like, but we gonna keep him.
We
gonna keep him.
It would have been some riding in the streets had they not brought Miles over to the 616. Like it would have been they'd have some trouble. They'd have some real trouble.
So yeah, I mean, I get that, and that's the one thing that I really appreciate about Miles is the fact that like even in kind of that whole surrounding and that environment where it's really hard for comics to really be able to get the footing and to be able to, especially when it's a new character replacing an old character like an established character, and arguably Spider-Man is one of the most like recognizable characters ever. For them to have so for him to have something like that to be able to take up that mantle even in his own universe and then do so well that, you know, not only did he replace him in the comic books, but then it was like, he's so good, we're gonna put him in our mainline stuff. So I agree, and I think that was one of the first times where you were able to actually see yourself in one of the characters as far as that's concerned, because before Black Panther, before Civil War, you weren't able to see a lot of those things. So that's one of the things where I thought that he had a really big impact. And I think I kind of agree with Dub, where without that push from like Miles Morales, you wouldn't have been able to get I think a lot of the other characters either getting that revitalization that we have maybe today. So
well said.
So the last question of the night, and it's a good one. And it's a feel-good question too. So, who was your favorite character in Black Panther, the original one?
Film?
Yep.
The Rhino.
I knew you would come with some bullshit. I knew you were gonna come with the bullshit.
I think mine was probably M'Baku.
You would say that.
I think, I'm thinking it was M'Baku. I haven't watched it in a while, but I'm feeling like it was M'Baku.
Yeah, he was really cool.
Yeah,
he was. I'm gonna say I love T'Challa, but I have to go with Okoye. I love Okoye. Like I love. She's dope, bro. Like she like when she was like at the end, he was like, "My love, would you kill me?" She point for Wakanda, for Wakanda, without question, without question. I was okay. Hey, I want to love like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I love Okoye. Yeah, she.
I kind of want to rub on her bald head too.
It's 100% Killmonger. Because even in acknowledging that he could have done things differently, he stood on his principle. He stood on who he was, regardless of how the outcome in the situation went.
Damn, I got another question now.
And I'm a villain, so.
I ain't gonna lie to you, because I sure was rocking with Thanos and Infinity War. Like, hey. You know what I'm saying?
I think everybody left out of there like, yeah, he's right.
A lot of people, bro. A lot of people. He wasn't wrong. He went about doing it maybe the wrong way per se.
I ain't gonna say he did the wrong way because
that's why I say they'll say per se. Like I don't mean like he necessarily he wasn't. He could have found a different way, but found a better way of doing it. But he wasn't wrong. I'm put it
Which
like
villain?
And getting blipped don't even look like it hurt. Like you just down and
just turned into dandruff.
Yeah, man. It don't even look like it hurt. So it's vegan, bro. You know, so nobody was hurt in the process of this film.
Right.
The only people hurt were the people left behind.
True.
True. Yeah.
He were definitely hurt when your wife got blipped. Like that hurt.
And she was more hurt when she came back and she saw you with another woman.
Exactly. The kids got blipped, and then your kids come back and see you got a whole new family.
5 years is a long time to grieve, my boy.
It is.
Now you got double miles to feed because they come back the age they was.
What you mean? I'm about to be a deadbeat, boy. I'm kidding.
I'm gonna say. So it was a toss up between M'Baku and Killmonger. Like I don't think that he was necessarily wrong. You know what I'm saying? And like I understand that probably made a whole lot of people that left the theater who weren't of the melatonin descent to
white people were uncomfortable. I'm gonna say
it. I think they were a little worried. I think they were a little scared.
And should be.
It correct because and see that's why I say and you can that's why you say Killmonger wasn't wrong for the simple fact of his experience outside of Wakanda, what he went through, what he saw, what he learned, all the stuff he's seen our people go through. Like he had right to feel the way he did. He had every right to feel the way he did. Like the man wasn't wrong. You can't take somebody's experience away.
And here's the other piece to that. I'm sorry, Wyatt. This is the biggest piece of why he's my favorite. Because you take the experience, and yeah, we can argue all day long that he should have taken a different approach. But that approach set in place for Wakanda to do what it's doing for this movie to now come about. His actions, without those actions, Wakanda would still be separate from the rest of the world. His actions forced that conversation and forced that change. So yeah, we could say all day long that he was wrong, but at the end of the day, he did what needed to be done.
I remember when the riots and things were happening in Minnesota, and there was this one black lady that said that they're lucky that we're just wanting equality, not revenge.
Yes, I know. I can't think of her name.
Killmonger wanted revenge. So and and like which isn't necessarily because like if you think about anybody else getting their equality, getting their freedoms and things like that, there's usually a rebellion that happened with that. Not to say that it's always good, but
Smoke is
sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Like blood.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And I know
blood.
you do, KB. Yeah, I feel like you have like iron knuckles, just waiting for a nigga to just slip up one good time.
She got her hockey. She go put on her armament and hit you with them tiny fits
Mm-hmm.
of fury.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
So, but yeah, I just I thought about that, and I just really wanted to end on a good note on who's favorites and things like that we had. But yeah, Killmonger wasn't bad. Oh, this only thing that I had to say, because it kept bothering me. So I just feel like it's really messed up that uh a lot of the villains in the Marvel movies get like retribution stories and things like that, but it feels like Killmonger doesn't, and
Mhm.
I don't like that. Like, there's only like, of course, you had those basic villains in the first, like, you know, Iron Man and things like that didn't have that, but like Loki got a whole fucking spinoff. I would love to
they,
see. Oh,
they, they tried to give him one.
uh-huh.
They tried to give a version of Killmonger a retribution, but he still
Oh yeah, he's still a kid.
he still wanted to. Yeah,
He still he wanted to smoke.
And that's
But
why he's my favorite.
and that's the thing. Like, I feel like I don't think that he's a man that stood on his principles. So therefore, I think he was a really really good person. And speaking of good people, we just want to take a moment here and just take a moment for Chadwick, because he definitely was a good one. Man, can you imagine being sick and doing all these damn movies just so that you can leave your mark on the world, knowing that you may not be able to see how it turns out?
Bro, I
Listen,
remember my homie was telling me like from Black Panther to like from it was from Black Panther to Endgame or Infinity War to Endgame. He said he noticed how skinny he had got
Mm-hmm.
between, but he just thought it was for another role. So it's kind of, and then I remember when he came out doing that chair and everybody was calling him the Crack Panther. And I was like, man, that was kind of sad right there.
I knew something was up when he came out and he looked super sickly. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it was one of those things where you just like kind of looked at it and was like, oh, something's not right here. Because
yeah.
like even when I think it was like 21 Bridges, like he
Mhm.
was he had lost a whole bunch of weight then, and I was just like, hey, something don't look right. Because
Yeah,
like
he
after,
was.
yeah,
I remember seeing him at the he was at the All-Star game, and
Yeah.
he was I think he was a judge for the dunk contest,
Yep.
mhm.
and he looked small. You know what I'm saying? So
He looks
but he was
small
like,
and tired.
yeah, he
Mhm.
did. And because somebody was like, man, because they had put a picture of him, and he was like, somebody was saying, like, look at him, he tired of everybody saying walking to him going Wakanda Forever, because he looked, you can tell he looked tired. You know what I'm saying, or whatever the case when you go, but you you know now what he was dealing with, what he was going through in silence, basically. So
Mhm.
it
Yeah, I
just
was just thinking he losing weight for that role for because he was supposed to do Black Samurai tale.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like that's like one of the next roles that I was actually excited for that. And I was like, I don't know if he was supposed to play Yusuke or not, but he was supposed to do like a tale about being one of the
Fuck
first
that
Black
movie.
Samurais.
Fuck that cartoon. Fuck that cartoon.
hey man,
I started watching that shit, and they started having witches and Megazords, and I was like, "Fuck this! This was supposed to be based off a true story. Where was Megazords, and where are they now?"
Got
you
Gunther
know,
popping in.
I like even after last year, I still don't know how he pulled that off. Like I just I couldn't work. Like I worked. I think I started chemo in March, and I worked until July, end of July, and I worked 2 jobs up until probably about June, and that was hard. And that was with people knowing what was going on. So the fact that only the people who needed to know knew, and you kept that, and you still like that's mind-boggling to me, because ain't no way.
And then you gotta think about it, like he was doing Black Panther, he was probably like doing some type of like strenuous workouts on top of
Right,
that.
you're doing
Like,
stunts, you're
so
doing
fast.
workouts, you're doing press tours, you're having like
And he was still seeing the sick in the hospital.
Yeah. So it's man, and he did a lot of work. Like I said, like Dub, you said too, 42. When I saw him in that, like he did a damn good job in 42. He did a lot of those little biops. So shout
And
out
that's the
to
thing.
Chadwick.
And that's the thing, like he did a lot of those, like James Brown, like, and he like. I feel like we probably need more people like this, but he was actually like letting you know about different, I guess you say, quote unquote, Black history, and screen. And it was like Jack Ross. You knew about Jack Ross, but like, bro, like actually seeing us, like, oh dang, like James Brown, like I just knew, like seeing it, like, oh okay, like bro, he really made you pay attention to that stuff and learn something while you were being entertained. Yeah, so that's like why, like when he passed, I was sincerely hurt because, like I said, like I really like when I saw his name on something, I was going to watch it.
Yep.
So, like he was like our modern day Denzel, Will Smith. Will Smith, I say, because I feel like he had more. Anyway, that's another conversation for another day. But I feel like Will Smith has more range. But anyway,
well, we will in the next couple of weeks we're gonna do our review of Wakanda Forever. So I wanted to take the time. What you got?
Before we go, speaking of review, next Thursday on the 17th, Victory Road, a gaming podcast, we'll be doing our somewhat spoiler-free review of God of War Ragnarok.
I'm spoiling. I'm telling you the end.
I won't be on there at all.
So we're gonna try to probably do spoiler free. We're gonna do half the episode is gonna be about God of War Ragnarok, and the other half of the episode we are gonna be discussing our expectations for the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that drops the very next day on the 18th. So please come support. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to play your video real quick.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's like,
yes, it does. Thank you to the Syndicate for that. But yes, I got that reminds me. I need to reach out to Jeremy and 8-Bit Frog because I want to try to get them on that episode as well. So
hey.
So, well, y'all, it's I appreciate each and every one of y'all showing up. And we just had a really good night. So we're gonna be like the Ninja Turtles, and we're gonna get the shell out of here. So until next time, we're gonna holler at y'all later. All right.
Peace.